Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Trump delivers a great sermon in the middle of a Detroit church, and what he says is absolutely on point.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's so nice, and Bishop Jackson, I want to thank you and Dr. Jackson, and you have some voice, I have to say. Incredible, and some spirit. Some spirit. True. Talent. Thank you. Christian faith is not the past, but the present and the future. Make it stronger. We'll make it stronger. And we'll open it up to great, great leaders like Pastor Jackson, Bishop Jackson, Dr. Jackson, and so many others, and so many others actually sitting here. Darrell Scott, we have, who's phenomenal, who's been with me for so long. Omarosa, who's actually a very nice person, but I don't want to say that, because I'll destroy her image by saying that, right? She's actually a very, very fine person and a pastor. And I just want to thank all of the folks. And there is somebody that's been very special to me, Dr. Ben Carson, who's been, stand up, Ben. Come here. Come here, Ben. This is a great man and a great guy. So as I prepare to campaign all across the nation and in every community, I will have an opportunity to lay out my plans for economic change, which will be so good for Detroit and so good for this community because we're going to bring jobs back. Our nation is too divided. We talk past each other, not to each other, and those who seek office do not do enough to step into the community and learn what is going on. I fully understand that the African American community has suffered from discrimination and that there are many wrongs that must still be made right. They will be made right. I want to make America prosperous for everyone. I want to make this city the economic envy of the world. We can do that. We can do that again. Factories everywhere, new roads and bridges, new schools, especially schools, and new hope. I'd like to conclude with a passage from 1 John chapter 4. You know it. See, most groups I speak to don't know that, but we know it. If you want, we can say it together. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and His love is made complete in us. And that's so true. Thank you very much. This has been such an honor. Thank you very much. Bishop, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Y'all, I've heard some great pastors in my time, in my young life, and I've read and heard retellings of pastors like John Wesley and George Whitefield, and I've heard those sermons. This doesn't rank up there with them, obviously. Trump's not going to beat out greats like that. But he does hit on an unusual core tenet. And if you notice something about this video, notice that this isn't a standard suburban church. This is an African American church in Detroit. And notice his rhetoric. He is reverent, he cares about what he's saying, and he wants to make the case to the black community that I care. Well, guess what, y'all? He actually delivered on that. He passed the economic opportunity zones that saw a huge uptick in black employment and black businesses. Hey y'all, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friends over at Colonial Metals Group. Their experts understand exactly what they're doing with gold, silver, and other precious metals, unlike our current leadership, which is giving us rampant inflation, terrible Federal Reserve policies, a president that doesn't know what planet he's on, and of course, an out-of-control Congress that won't stop spending. We have to figure out ways to keep our wealth safe. And the best way to do that is to go over to my friends at Colonial Metals Group, because their experts can help you diversify your portfolio, and they've got an amazing offer for first-time accounts. Free gold, silver IRA accounts, insured storage for 5 years, up to $7,500 in silver delivered directly to your home, and a safe to keep all that stuff in. So go over regardless and see what they can do for you and protect your wealth and your future today. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. Those economic opportunity zones worked. Why? Because Republicans understand something very, very effectively, pretty much better than their counterparts, the Democrats. Tax cuts work. That's what this economic opportunity zones did. They offered lower tax rates for areas that were hurting economically. And it worked. That was more than Barack Obama ever did. Cash for clunkers didn't work. All right, pretty much the only thing that Barack Obama got right was keeping the George Bush tax cuts. Funny how that works. When you realize that something is a good policy, you keep it. That's why Joe Biden has kept many of Trump's current policies. Unfortunately, he's dismantled some of the more important ones. And that's why this is an unusually important little sermon. Because he's making the case to the black community that he cares and he's going to work for them. And he did. The black community is now recognizing that to some degree. And that's why Joe Biden is losing support among black Americans, because effectively his policies have made them economically unviable. If that rings a bell, remember Falling Down is a great movie. And the black community understands this. They're starting to see the light that the Democrats have promised them the moon and have given them nothing ever since civil rights. It has been almost 60 years. As a matter of fact, it will be 60 years since that law was passed. And yet things seem like they just keep getting worse. Donald Trump at least promised some change and delivered. Probably the first real change that we've seen, at least in my young life. And so that's why this sermon is still important today. It's not about the truths that were held within. It's not about what he was actually saying. It's where he was, who he was talking to, and the people that he was giving reverence to, the people he was honoring. These were black Americans who traditionally vote Democrat, and invited Donald Trump to come up there and speak, and he not only delivered in a sermon, he delivered in policy. Hopefully we can see something like that happen again in 2024. But man, it's going to be an interesting ride to say the least. Yo, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.